One of the most undervalued professions in our country is that of a teacher. And if you've been lucky, you have had at least one teacher who really inspired you to outdo yourself. Today, we're going to be talking with Rakesh Shah, who works in the coaching industry, and he's going to be talking about what it really takes to be a good teacher. Also, he has really interesting advice to all the students who are preparing for the competitive exam, so stick right till the end. Hello everyone, welcome to KYP. This is Ashit. Let's start with the video. Hi Rakesh, welcome to KYP. Thank you so much for doing this.
Hi Arshit, I'm really happy to be here. We are trying to get this done for quite some time now, but I really found time today and I'm really excited to be here.
So, can you tell us something about your education background and what do you do now?
So, my education background over here is, I've completed from my engineering from Mumbai University. I've been, very much excited to pursue electronics and telecom because at that point of time when we were studying, it was quite a boom. That is what we were told. और हम लोगों को बताया गया था कि scope बहुत है. So basically the idea was it has a lot of scope, right? And I remember when I was in standard 10th, I was a super bright kid. I always knew a lot of things beforehand they were taught. So I was always excited to learn more things. Ki yaar, how can this get more better and more exciting? So I was up for those games. And I always looked forward to best teaching, best coaching. So 11th is when I was super excited. Ki yaar, my life will change. People said, you'll get into sciences. It's a very different and demanding and exciting course. So I was like happy about that. So वहाँ से engineering choose किया. That's how I went ahead. So I am basically an engineer from Mumbai University. I've done electronics and telecom. At the moment, I am into coaching industry. I train students and I coach students for engineering entrance examinations and medical examinations.
Right. So, how did you get into teaching, and kind of what was your main idea behind getting into this?
Okay, so there were a couple of important things that led me to get into teaching. Was सबसे पहले तो the first thing that really got excited was the fact that I could interact with young minds. That was the most important thing that I always wanted to do, and this is still the most important thing that gets me up early in the morning. So this is probably the only thing that makes me feel that I'm connected with the young minds, even I'm getting old. Right. So this is the only thing that really gets me up in the morning. I can talk to the kids easily. I can get ideas across. I understand what they think, despite there being a good amount of generation gap that I'm seeing right now. But I still understand and try to get hold of their feelings and emotions. This was one. Second, while pursuing engineering, I realized that my biggest strength was communicating ideas. I thought I could deliver difficult concepts, difficult ideas across very easily. In lucid manner is what the right word would be. I saw that happening with my friends because they found a lot of ideas quite challenging, and I could make it easier for them and I could put it across. That's when I realized I should do something which is related to communication. Teaching was never my first option. I wanted to get into marketing. Honestly, marketing and sales is what I actually started with. Okay. I had my own company which was selling MBA programs. But while I was doing all these things, I realized that I was pretty good at it. I liked science. So alongside, I started teaching maths, which is what I really wanted to get into. And when I approached Yukti at that time, it was one of the most popular IIT coaching in Mumbai. So I got into that and I gave my interview for maths. But then I realized that they were looking out for a physics faculty. So that is how the entire transition happened. And I fortunately got into physics and I've been teaching physics since then. And the reason why I still like it is because I'm happy to get up in the morning, get stretched by the kids. They create a lot of pain. It's very painful to put across an idea, but it is a challenge that I really love to take it up.
So, thinking about this, so we know that, this is quite common knowledge. We know even if people are good at something, they may not necessarily be a good teacher. What do you think is one key skill that teachers should really have?
Now, let me just tell you what I feel as I keep, teaching over the years. I've realized that what happens is when you're teaching, in a batch of 100, I'm just counting a batch of 100, for example. For a teacher, you are doing a good job if you are keeping at least 80 to 85 happy. There will be 15 kids who will not be happy with you, because that is going to happen and it will always happen, because there is no way that you are going to appeal to all of them. It is impossible. Now, there is a good possibility that you might be, not liked by many. So now what is really happening over here is you need to evaluate the fact that what is not really happening correct over here. There can be many various factors. The first is the presentation that you put across. The second that I've come across is, which is a part of presentation, is basically your body language. The more comfortable you are, the more confident you are, the student is bound to be, more confident with the fact that he is going to deliver across a good idea. So that makes him more excited about the subject and the individual who is going to deliver that idea. So confidence is a very, very strong character that a teacher must have, which, backed by good presentation and good concepts or good content, will definitely make you a good teacher. Now, in the beginning, these things, might be slightly shaky. You may not be confident just because you're getting started. So you might not have a lot of hours behind you to, say for the fact that I can teach any topic XYZ really well, but you are still very good with the content. So I strongly believe that you have to first start working on the content that you want to deliver, or whatever is your subject specific knowledge, or the course that you teach, or whatever art form that you want to deliver. That is the first thing that you have to be extremely good at. The next thing is to learn the soft skill, which has to be backed by the soft skill of putting across these things across to the other student, which is very, very essential. So even if you feel that there is a requirement for you to learn these soft skills, you should go ahead and do them, because these skills are very, very essential. Okay. And there are so many courses out there which people go ahead with. I know a lot of teachers and tutors who go across good body language courses. It really changes their lifestyles. Okay, which is very, very essential. So from time to time, I have also noticed that just to be confident, I've seen people do a good, makeover in their entire closet also. It just makes them feel more confident. Okay, I'm probably just going to be more casual for this entire year. That is something that I've seen, and that is how they've actually changed their entire personality. And those things really matter. So what you're asking over here is, how can you come across to a kid and get probably the better of yourself, is by ensuring first, evaluating yourself continuously, whether your content is better, getting better, improving. That is one. That's the first important concept. The second is, you have to be very, very good with your body language. You have to ensure that the kids are attentive of what you're doing, and you clearly understand when you're in a room if you're getting that attention or not. You should have that attention of the entire class. That is very essential. Voice modulation is one of the most key factors which gets your entire class going really well. You need to get the voice modulation in such a manner that they listen to the exact important thing that you want to deliver across really very nicely.
Yeah. So now that you have mentioned about like interacting with students, so I think one of the key aspect might be kind of building a good rapport with your students. So I mean, this might come very naturally to some people, and it really depends on everyone's personality as
well.
But
that's true. That's true. So Arshad, what you've asked over here is basically the rapport building usually is not really a forte that everyone is born with. And what I have noticed and what I have seen is, it may or may not be required with certain individuals. Because there can be extremely talented individuals who can put across an idea and may not be really interested in the rapport building at all. So they might not, really be interested to come down and just have a word with you. Ki, hi Arshad, how are you feeling today? They might not do that. They're just there to get their job done. So basically, they're not going to be interacting with you, trying to get your best version. They are just interested to put across the idea in the best possible manner. So rapport building is definitely required, but probably it depends, number one, on the course, second, on what audience you cater to. May or may not be important, is what I just feel is true over here. because I have come across extremely talented individuals who've never interacted with kids, on a one-to-one basis, but they've been able to enthrall the audience when they're on the platform, and they've really done well.
Now, so would you recommend teaching as a profession to anyone? Like, I understand there might be some challenges, there might be some good points. So, can you talk a bit about that?
The reason why I always would recommend teaching as a profession is basically because it is something that you will love doing, because number one, it is a service that you are giving, and it is very humbling. At the end of the day, you are very humbled about the fact that what you've done today is you've provided a service which has actually enlightened a group of students and probably the audience. It's a very humbling experience. That's number one. Second, it is probably the only profession wherein you are getting better and better every single day. Okay, so you interact more, you get better. So your better concepts, are more polished. More you go ahead and teach. That's second. Third is, now that everything is getting digital, it is also one of those courses that can be, picked up by digital nomads. You can be in any part of the world and you can go ahead and continue to teach, and you can earn well, which is very, very essential at the same time. So this is one thing that I'm really looking forward to. At the same time, why I want young kids and young fresh blood to get into teaching is because the reason why I got into teaching was I really liked the way that my tutors taught me, and I wanted exactly the same thing to be delivered to my kids also. I still remember the way that I studied my 11th and 12th, and I teach it exactly the way that I was taught. So I try to put it across in a very similar manner, makes the life very easy. And I've come across tutors who are not able to do that. So despite that fact, I felt that there is something that I can do better, and if you can do that way, I think you should join this thing. It's a really fantastic and a definitely fulfilling course. It makes you happy at the end of the day.
Yeah. So the next question, I think this might be a bit specific, but so imagine a student who is in maybe 9th, 10th, or 11th or 12th standard. So I know like one aim is definitely to get into a good college, but I feel in that period our life just kind of gets a bit blurred and everybody is just focusing on the study. So what do you suggest should the aim of the student really be in that period?
So throughout the entire 9th, 10th, 11th and 12th, you have to just keep monitoring the progress of the kid on the basis of their liking. Okay, so if they like something, you have to give them full support to enjoy that. At the same time, I always recommend that there must be an elementary education that they must complete. I strongly advise everyone to complete their 12th with science background, because it always keeps your aptitude sharper. Post 12th standard, you might plan to do commerces, you plan to do arts. It's completely okay. That depends on your choice. You might have a liking for accounts. Those are fantastic courses again. You might have liking for fine arts, but I strongly advise people to get into sciences for 11th and 12th only and only because it keeps your aptitude really sharp for the rest of your life. Because 11th and 12th makes you do a lot of aptitude based learning. It keeps you mentally alert throughout your entire life. So this is what I advise all my kids, no matter what you plan to do ahead, but I strongly advise them to do 11th and 12th as their science background course.
Okay.
With math included, a very, very strong thing. No matter you're doing a PCB course or a PCM course, I want all the kids to go ahead with the maths rigor, so that they might question you right now, why do I really need tan theta? But you don't know when you really need tan theta, right? So it's better to learn it. You may or may not need it. I strongly believe that you must know trigonometry even if you don't know how to cook. It is all right.
Yeah, I agree that those kind of problem solving mentality kind of really helps in any aspect of life. So those kind of tricky problems would really help anywhere.
That's true. That is very true. And at the same time, no matter what, I suggest students to do engineering, because engineering has never been a course to teach you a specific specialization. It has always taught you how to live. So it is probably the only course that will train you how to survive your entire life. Because your entire 4 years, you've been thrown into so many different things, so many challenges, so many hardships, so many assignments, so many good things. But at the end of it, when you survive and when you come out, at least in Bombay and probably in most of the places in India, I've seen that you are definitely born to rock and probably, capture any part of the world that you be in. So engineering is something that I strongly ask kids who are confused, what should I do? Not because there is scope into it, which is the idea, which is why I got trapped into it, because that's not how it works.
Right.
But then it will always make you stand somewhere in the face of the earth, and you can definitely rule from there onwards, depending on what your skill set ahead goes.
Yeah. Got it. So in the end, just one final question. So would you like to say anything to our viewers or the young audience who might be pursuing these competitive exams or some?
If you ask me, I strongly advise the kids to continue laying and pursuing their physical education till standard 10th, and whatever time is remaining, you can pursue your academics accordingly, but your first priority should be towards a very important thing, and that is towards your health. I strongly believe that the kids are not doing sufficiently enough for their body at this point, so they have to strongly go out, have good physical workout, go out and play, which kids these days are not doing, which is really very troublesome.
Right.
I strongly want them to go out and play. Acads will be taken care if you're smart enough to juggle it in 3 hours. The rest can be utilized, because most of us have done it the same way, and we are really going ahead. Now what we are seeing with the kids is they come from their schools, they go back to tuitions, and then they have more tuitions, and there is absolutely no time to play. I want the kids to go back and have their part, which is very, very essential. So something that I always advise all my students: you must do engineering / coding. If you're doing something else, okay, if you're not doing engineering, you must do coding no matter what. Do whatever course you like, you must do coding, and at the same time you must have a good workout regime, because these are two things that will take you into 20 years into future, and you will be definitely a good, successful person, because these are two key things that will help you remain afloat.
So that was our conversation with Rakesh Shah. Please like and share this video with students and parents of students who you know are preparing for the competitive exams. Please subscribe to my channel for more such content. Alright, I'll see you in the next one. Bye.